During my severe weather series, we've talked about how National Weather Service meteorologists draw tornado warning polygons. But what's the future of these tornado warnings? They're one of the most important things the National Weather Service does to alert the public of a very serious impending threat. Now, these tornado warning polygons, it's either you're in or you're out of the polygon, and you have about 10 minutes to seek shelter. That's the average tornado warning lead time that you get. And not everyone in this polygon is going to see a tornado. There's a lot of space in here where people get overwarned for a threat that never really materializes. So what's the advances that is being done with research at the National Severe Storms Laboratory? Well, they're using advanced computer models to use probabilities to predict these individual strong supercell thunderstorms and increase the lead time that people have to seek shelter. I'm going to be talking with a person at the National Severe Storms Laboratory as well as a meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Bismarck to see what all of this research means in our future.
So this war on forecast system, it's a long-term development, but we're in a really exciting phase of it now. So we started back in 2009 with this vision to build an ensemble that makes probabilistic predictions of individual thunderstorms. And it took close to a decade to build that system and start testing it in real-world kinds of scenarios. And it's doing really well in our experimental runs. Instead of issuing severe storm messages at moments in time, like we do when the Weather Service issues a watch or a warning, that we want to update that information all the way along the timeline between watches and warnings. And that every time we get new radar information, satellites and new weather models, they're coming in every minute or every 5 minutes, we can update not just the scenario that's unfolding, but the odds of a specific storm at the city level. Is it going to produce a tornado versus a damaging wind report? We'll have that kind of information. So there are some other weather models that take in radar data about every hour, but the War on Forecast system reads in not only radar, but also satellite information and other observations every 15 minutes. So it's about 4 times as rapid in keeping up with how the severe storms look right now, and that helps it make better predictions out a few hours. When it comes to these individual storms that may produce a damaging event 2 or 3 hours from now, it's very difficult to issue a specific warning on that the way we do it right now based on radar alone. So having WAFs will give forecasters these probabilities, the chance that that storm might hit, a sporting event or a concert that's happening outdoors a couple of hours from now, even places like hospitals where there are a lot of vulnerable people who need to move to shelter. And so even if there isn't an official warning on that storm, if a knowledgeable user can see that there's, hey, a 20-30% chance that this could happen, they might choose to take shelter anyway. I really think that there will still be watches and warnings. It's this proven way that we do business that has worked for decades. But we want to add to that the probabilistic information. And you all are familiar with this in terms of the chance of rain today. It's kind of the same thing. What is the chance that this specific storm is going to come near me and be hazardous? So however you receive weather information, that's probably not going to change, but what you hear might become more detailed, and you can make better use of that.
One of the major goals of this project over the next decade is to extend the lead time for areas outside of the current warning where we know in the next little bit there is a very high likelihood of a tornado, to really giving folks that maybe need 1, 2, 3 hours to really prepare for severe weather on a fine scale, that we need to be highly confident, say, before we evacuate a campground or move a large facility into shelter, right? They need to have a certain level of confidence, but at a longer lead time. That's what this research is really destined for. And I also want to emphasize that even with the advent of machine learning that will be applied to this, that really just helps forecasters, meteorologists sift through massive amounts of data, gives them better first guesses, if you will, and they're always going to be applying their expert knowledge to help really identify where those alerts are going to go out. So it gives them a much better first guess in 5 or 10 years as we evolve and apply this research to it. But you're always still going to get an alert. It might be in a different form or multiple formats that help you make decision making better. But there's still going to be meteorologists, experts in your local area behind those warnings and those alerts, no matter what format they end up taking.
Technology has changed so much in just the past couple of years, and it continues to exponentially change And it gets only better in the future, and that long lead time for warnings.
You have more information than you can actually deal with.
That's
in a
true.
given moment.
Time is just time, right? But the data is all, it's expanding. So it's a good thing.
All right, it
Yeah.
is.